question is, what do the carriers like BYOD, and what does it do to channel? Could you do that last bit?
The channel engagement model and the marketing strategy.
So what does BYOD put demand on for channel engagement and channel marketing? So let's start with the carrier rep. David.
Fair enough. So at first, as you can imagine, BYOD is something that is not necessarily from the carrier folks that are out there selling large carrier accounts and aggregating corporate use, right? So initially there seems to be, that there was actually some concern around that. Actually what we've been able to do is listen to the customer and actually create scenarios where we can still provide, instead of just BYOD, it's really more like choose your own device, or bring a device and we'll provide you with a data plan or something of that nature. So we're still finding that the carriers, if they have the billing capabilities, which AT&T does, if they have the capacity to deliver that kind of solution, it really is, it's completely customer choice. So we offer great solutions for corporate or great solutions for individual responsible. It's just a matter of how you address those spaces. The way it affects marketing and so forth, actually, that's not my strong suit. I can say that ultimately it's going to have an impact. I mean, we know that more and more BYOD type discussions are coming up, so it has no choice but to impact the way we are approaching that market space. But as I said before, BYOD is unique in the corporate realm, and that the customer has to want to do it. So we're going to do our very best to make sure we create the very best solutions that create a draw for customers to want to use BYOD, and again, be adaptive as a carrier to provide those types of solutions for them.
So I can't help piling on because I do work for a carrier as well, so it would be unfair not to. Actually, I think it's a great opportunity. First, if our customers want it and need it, we want to provide it. We're here to be here for customer service. But the opportunity, you've heard a couple of things tonight. It's about driving penetration and reach into that employee base that today doesn't get empowered with a mobile-enabled productivity tool. But by having cost management tools in the hand of the business owner, the business manager, they now can extend the reach to other employees that are not as empowered today. And I just said, not just the business manager, the business owner, the line of business owner. The target for this is this regional sales president for the Southeast. It's not just the IT manager, it's the CMO. So we can now reach into solutions that they can implement on their part of the business. The other thing is on the marketing channel enablement. Actually, the good news about that, at least at AT&T, I could say, is that we're all about mobile solutions. So we love when a complex business problem is faced by our customers, because we can provide complex mobile solutions effortlessly and simply to them. It brings together mobile device management, mobile VPN, mobile application management, mobile storefronts. That's BYOD, and there's other elements, but the point being, what a great platform to really meet a real business need and actually sell a whole package of solutions. So I don't know if anybody would want, I don't want to bore you with a carrier perspective too much, so we'll maybe take another question unless you guys have anything you'd like to add to the carrier.
Just one other piece. I think it really goes to show AT&T, we work with, I'll say, leading carriers around the world, Vodafone in Europe, etc. The carriers that get it, love it, because they're not, maybe the salespeople don't if the carriers haven't aligned comp models. Okay, so I think that there's a lot to it because the carriers that have thought through it and evolved, and I think AT&T is really on the front end of that, have even thought and aligned compensation and how they market and how they really are working with their individual sales teams because the opportunity is additional devices too. And I think that's a big part. There's a lot more devices that can come, not just from additional people, but also multi-devices per user. And the carriers that make the program easy from a BYOD perspective for somebody to opt into are definitely going to, winner-take-all scenario.
Very good. Jose, you want to add?
Yeah, and one additional benefit to the carrier is, if you think about it, I referred to this before, from a payroll standpoint, from an accounts payable standpoint, some people still get billed from the employee and go through it and do all this yada yada yada. So a carrier would definitely benefit if the solution allowed for that to happen automatically. So the employee gets their bill for what they use. That's it. They don't get billed for corporate usage, and the corporation gets billed automatically making money on the employee, it's making money on the corporation. So that's another spin on the BYOD space that carriers definitely like.
Oh, I like it. That was nice. Thank you. Take note of that. So your question, I think, was,
Silos.
yeah, is this getting a little out of hand now? We're going to create a bunch of silos in IT and, in fact, just introduce an explosion of complexity. John, why don't you take that first?
Short term, yes, it'll normalize, and I think it'll normalize because the traditional PC management function has a little bit been broken, where now you've got who's managing an iPad, is it the telecom group, is it the IT group? I think it's bringing new opportunities, especially look at what AT&T is doing with managed services. It's actually, I think, pushing people faster to think about cloud, managed services, all those types of things. So in some ways there's a rationalization, but it is a little bit of short-term chaos from what we're seeing.
I have to echo, we're seeing short-term because there's, again, folks start into these situations not really knowing what they're supposed to get out of it. So you have the silo of mobile this, mobile that, mobile security, mobile device, mobile infrastructure. We'd like to see that melt away over time. It's security, it's device, it's infrastructure, and have the ubiquity in the platforms that we're supporting, from mobile device management, et cetera, that provide you with that seamless experience. So it doesn't matter if you're accessing data from a laptop, a tablet, from a mobile handheld device. The fact is you have a set of tools, a set of policies, a set of technologies in place that allow one set of rules and one set of policies. You don't have to break them all apart. Is this mobile? Is this a laptop? Is this? That's what's going to happen. That's really what we're moving towards, and I think we're building the right kind of tools to deliver that solution.
And I think it's important to help our customers understand this, right? Because it goes back to the money question that we talked about in the beginning, right? So am I doing this to save money? Well, that's one of those factors that many times you don't think about in the beginning. You're thinking about the fact that, we may save a little bit on data plans, or because the users are buying their own devices. So that's one of the things that you truly have to be focused on and understand is, what is that true cost of ownership for this platform as a whole? Not just in the beginning, but I agree. I think there is chaos in the beginning. It's something where all of a sudden you see this uptick in cost, and excuse me, it's, oh my gosh, who does support this? Who do I call in for this? And what parts do they support, right? It's bring your own device, so are you supporting that entire device? Are you supporting just the applications on the device? Are you having to train your help desk to support those different devices and applications? So it's something that definitely needs some deep thought before you go down that road.
Well, this initial set of platforms is one thing, but like we've seen even just within the browser, let's think of the browser as a platform, let's think of BYOD platforms as a platform. Can we expect to see some enhancements within this platform that we don't have today, where it starts to have the smarts to give the end user some notification about what might be going on, and intelligently manage more of the services level and application level because it's a BYOD platform? Is that a fair question?
That's close enough for conversation.
Close enough for conversation. Okay, so we're going to see that kind of smarts come from your BYOD platforms.
I mean, that's why virtualization is so wonderful, right? Because you have on one side your work browser, and the other side your personal browser. And they don't talk to each other, they don't see each other, they don't know about each other. So you want to go traffic, you want to go Facebook, you want to go, whatever, Twitter, you want to do whatever with your personal contacts, you want to set up a date, do whatever you want there. It's not going to impact what you're doing at work. So from an IT department standpoint, it's a wonderful separation, because you can assure yourself that what is on the work side is never going to touch or interfere with what's happening on the personal side. So you can download whatever you really want on the personal side, even if it has a virus or if it has malware or any type of issue, and it's never going to impact the other side. So that's the wonderful thing about doing virtualization. The other aspect is also from the security. One thing I forgot to mention about the containers. The issue with a container, by the way, is that it's an application. So it's as vulnerable as any application in the device. When you do it at the OS level, now you have an even deeper
So first of all, the devices. Look, the devices 6 months ago were not as smart as the devices today, or not as smart as the devices are going to be a year from now, right? We've seen this. So we've seen sandboxing and application level sandboxing and things happen. We should all be very concerned about elevated privilege issues. I won't call it hacking, but that's ultimately what it comes down to. If you go to an application, you download it because it's a flashlight, it shouldn't have the ability to read your contacts and to monitor your phone and to have geolocation. Check, guys, check. Do this. Check and see what, next time you're going to download an app from the App Store, be aware that sometimes the apps do have elevated privileges and you need to be aware of that. So to the point, there are some technologies that you have to look at. Containerization or dual persona or multi-persona being one type of technology that's definitely going to address this. Again, just the advancement of the devices themselves as they become more capable of preventing malware from gaining access. The other aspect is intelligent business applications. Applications that themselves launch their own environment, launch their own VPN, launch their own security. This is really the next, another tool in your corporate arsenal that you're going to have. So just having the ability to put an application, a secure application, onto a device that's otherwise unsecured. When you authenticate to that application, it creates its own environment, it secures its own environment, it has its own encryption, it does everything, it creates its own VPN. Those are the types of technologies that, again, we see it as not one size fits all, no one silver bullet. You need to have a good arsenal of tools, and we see these as all being tools in that arsenal.
John, from the RIM point of view?
Yeah, from a RIM perspective, I think, talking specifically about RIM devices, we have something in place called BlackBerry Balance. And it does what is very similar, to what Jose's company is doing, but basically it creates a work perimeter so that your work data is secure and it's completely separate from your personal data and they don't know that each other exists. So that, I think that has to be a part of your solution as you look at this. And, also as David said, it's something that is coming as we continue to get smarter devices, smarter applications. I think we'll see more of this. But from a RIM perspective, we have that in place today with our BlackBerry devices. And, one of the things that we're looking to do is be able to extend that same, type of abilities and capabilities to non-BlackBerry devices. So I think it's something that's a must-have to truly be able to separate that personal and corporate.
So John.
It all sounds very scary. So I am not someone, I think it's about personal choice. As an individual, I do not want all the virtualization. I don't want to go enter my Delta password twice. I don't want to go have two places with my Avis, my Marriott, all that stuff. I don't want to have to guess when my dentist appointment was, when I go over here to the other side. I don't have enough brain power these days to keep track of all that stuff. So I like it all in one place, and I think that the security element that you're talking about is everybody's responsibility in that value chain, and you're starting to see Apple not approve apps that use location-based services for no good reason, or, so I think Apple is way ahead in terms of putting the strict controls in place. Android, depends on the day of the week. But there are tools out there that are looking at those apps now. Your corporate governance and responsibility as a company putting on apps should be sensitive to using stuff. So I think it's everybody's responsibility, and whether or not you want it in one place like I do, or you choose the virtualization or the containerization, that comes down to the beauty of why it's BYOD, why we're here.
Well, just to wrap, I just